Retail Broadcast Channel with Peter Neyens.
How can we think about nature in a retail background? My name is Peter Neyens and this is the Retail Broadcast Channel. Today I'm going to talk with Agnieszka Oleksyn, Wajda Attorney-at-law, European Climate Pact Ambassador and a sustainability expert. Hello Agnieszka, thank you for being our guest and share your expertise.
Hello, Peter. First of all, I would like to thank you for the invitation to your podcast. I am really honored and excited to talk to you.
You're very welcome, Agnieszka. Agnieszka and I will be talking about how sustainability fits in the retail scenery. Agnieszka, just to get our listeners to know you a little bit better, how did an attorney become an ambassador?
Yeah, so let me tell you the beginning of my professional story. So my interest in environmental and sustainability began in 2008. I was working in Big Four company for over a decade. Most of the time I advised clients from retail sector who at that time invested in the infrastructure of shopping malls, of logistic parks. And then the global economic crisis in 2008 caused the economic slowdown and hold up the investments. So as a consequence, the shopping mall market was one of the most affected by the crisis. And it all made me thinking about economic development, about corporate social responsibility, and about the environmental protection as part of the bigger picture, like puzzles. And this pushed me to refocus my expertise in environmental protection law. And I decided to enter this field as I wanted my knowledge and my expertise to contribute to something really worthy, to a better future. At this moment, I am the expert in the Institute of Sustainable Development at Warszawski University in Warsaw, Poland. I am also head of the Academy of Business and Law in the fashion sector at the same university, and head of postgraduate program Environmental Protection Law. But you asked me about being the ambassador, and let me tell you about this project. At the end of 2020, I was doing some academic research on regulations regarding sustainability, regarding climate change, European Green Deal, and I found the information on the European Climate Pact. Just to give you the picture what the European Climate Pact is, this is the project which was launched by the European Commission at the end of 2020, and it is part of the European Green Deal, helping the EU to meet its goal to be the first climate neutral continent in the world by 2050. And in each EU member states, European Commission selected a group of the ambassadors of the European Climate Pact. And in Poland, there are about, I guess at the moment, 16 ambassadors coming from local governments, from NGOs, from universities. And there are also some individuals just being passionate about climate action. I would say about us that we are kind of a bridge between the European Commission and civil society in respect of climate action and environmental protection. And our role is to be the advocate of the climate action, is to engage the local communities, to share our knowledge, raise awareness on the topics related to climate change through organizing discussions, events, campaigns, peer parliaments. But I myself focus mainly on the consumption and production in fashion and in beauty industry.
Yeah. Yeah, and sometimes we take for granted that the retail sector wants to become more sustainable every day. But what are the most common obstacles encountered by entrepreneurs?
Mm, I would say that dynamically developing business, the fashion sector has significantly contributed to environmental degradation, both at the stage of production and also as use of clothes by the consumers. So, the fashion industry, as I mentioned, contributes along the entire supply chain to soil, to water, to air pollution, greenhouse gas emission, and waste production. Just to give you the example, 2,700 liters of water must be used to produce just one t shirt. And to compare it, this is as much as one person drinks in about 900 days. Another example, it is the report published by McKinsey and the Global Fashion Agenda, Fashion on Climate. And you can read that fashion sector emits 4% of total global annual emission of greenhouse gases, which is as much as the economies of France, of Germany, and UK altogether. And another problem in fashion industry is, of course, textile waste. The average consumer in Europe throws away about 11 kilos of textile per a year. But the environmental awareness, both among consumers and companies in the fashion industry, has increased in recent years, probably thanks to activists, to scientists, to some alerts about climate change. And as a result, at this moment, the main trend in the clothing industry is sustainable development and transparency. But concluding it, I would say that creating too much waste is the biggest problem, and still we have too little capacity to reuse and recycle this waste.
And what is the role of an influencer, and what are your major objectives in this domain?
Um, I think that people whose voices are heard by publicity, either on social media or in any other media, should disseminate knowledge about the topic, raising awareness, showing the consequences of overconsumption and overproduction. So I
Absolutely.
believe that the role of the influencer shall be changing the consumer behavior, promoting zero waste idea, sharing how to implement ecology and zero waste in our life. I think that influencers are in that position that they can shape fashion consumption, including more sustainable consumption behavior. They can make companies to rethink the business models, and especially that is so crucial in fashion and in beauty and in lifestyle products.
And if we take a camera and zoom in on retail and sustainability, what do you think are the best ways to handle this challenge?
Um, as far as I know, Polish market, I can tell that fashion companies are more and more conscious about sustainable business. What we do at this moment, we create think tanks engaging business, engaging NGOs and experts from the universities. We discuss, try to understand each other, find the way to a sustainable and circular business. Um, and to show you the example of such a good practice, let me tell you about my last experience. It was in a beauty industry. And I was a guest speaker during the conference Hairstylists and Beauty Industry for the Future. It was organized by one of the biggest beauty international company. And the conference was dedicated for the beauty and hair salons in order to support them in becoming sustainable. And the aim of the event was to show to the Polish saloons that sustainability or zero waste or ecology is just part of the business. It shall be treated as a business strategy just because it is required by the consumers. And the audience was surprisingly big and really interested in this subject. And another example of a fantastic initiative is promoting by Polish companies, together with sustainability experts, the responsible care and maintenance of products, for example, clothes. Fashion companies, together with sustainable influencers, can show how to wash, how to dry, how to iron, what to do with the clothes that we got bored or which are damaged. And it seems like super simple and obvious things, but nevertheless, some improvements can reduce the negative impact on the environment, and it makes clothes last longer. And of course, there are markets which are more advanced in terms of building green business and responsible consumption. But on the other hand, some other markets are just at the moment of discovering that subject. And I think that Polish market is somewhere in the middle. And we also shall remember that we are all in this marathon to the climate neutrality, and it is our goal of the whole society for the benefit of the future generations. So supporting each other, sharing good practices is really helpful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I see also that some companies are afraid to invest in sustainability because they think it will not come cheap. Is there a way to invest in the environment without impacting the turnover of your business?
I think that we came to the moment that sustainability is part of the business strategy, which is required by the consumer. If you want to profit in your business, you will not avoid this subject. And it is worth mentioning at this point that at the end of March this year, the European Commission published the EU strategy for sustainable and circular textile. And the European Commission vision of the future of the textile industry in Europe lays on several pillars that include eco-designs, waste management, transparency, labeling, microplastic, and some of these requirements will be mandatory, and there will not be any choice for the companies. Fashion products will have to be more durable, reusable, repairable, energy efficient, and by 2030, the EU hopes that textile products will be recyclable and free of hazardous substances, and products. The production will be transparent, and fast fashion will be a thing of the past.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you think there is a relation between sustainability and technology?
Yes, absolutely. Again, let me give you the example. Just globally, less than 1% of clothes are recycled as clothing, partly due to inadequate technology. And at this moment, there are two leading companies in Poland producing alternative fuel from textile, and they have also developed an innovative textile composite for industrial use, but such technology is still not that common. And new technology is not only about recycle, it is about the whole concept of transformation fashion sector into circular, limiting waste in the whole supply chain. For example, digital sampling is about reducing fabric waste. Consumer can use this digital sampling, a technology that allows you to try on clothes virtually, just as you would do it in a store. Another example is machine learning. This technology collects data directly from consumers and indicates what is hot, what is needed by the client. Then it uses information to forecast and eliminate overstocking and overproduction. Since online shopping became more and more popular in the last 2 years, upcoming innovations like, for example, mobile body scanning can allow consumer to buy clothes, reducing returns and waste. So I think that new technologies are fundamental in this green transformation in fashion industry.
Absolutely. It's amazing. If you could picture yourself the perfect future for retail in terms of sustainability, what would it look like?
Now, that's a really good question. And already in the introduction to the strategy that I mentioned, the European Commission clearly states that the fast fashion, must go out of fashion by 2030. So I believe that the companies will have to be transparent in informing about their products. They will have to inform that what products are made of, what substances were used for dyeing, who made the product, and where it was made. Can it be recycled? Can it be fixed? It will also be important that we will be able to recognize what eco really means. Currently, we have a lot of freedom to use terms such as ecological, environmental friendly, climate neutral, or green. But as unvariable, they can be only part of greenwashing, actually. So I think that in future, maybe there will be some applications thanks to which it would be possible to trace the entire history of the product development. And I think that this would be a fantastic solution for the consumers. But at the same time, we have to remember about the pattern of the consumption. It also has to change. Today, shopping is a way of spending our free time. There is very important role of education, of building awareness and knowledge in the field of climate change and the impact of human activities on the environment.
So, Agnieszka, what is the most revolutionary thing you did lately?
So I support and connect entities being part of the revolution. And I think that the biggest achievement in this field is the postgraduate studies program, environmental protection law at Warszawskie University. And the program turned out to be really helpful for the business, really helpful for the experts. And today it focuses on environmental protection, but also on sustainable development, on climate change, low emission, ESG, CSR, and all these fields are necessary to build a sustainable business strategy. And this academic year, it is the 8th edition of our program, and we have more than 300 people graduated. And they are now spreading their knowledge and in their companies, in their own circles. So I think that my own revolution started over 8 years ago, once I picked the early signs of the large trend and turned to run in this marathon of green transformation. So by bringing together people who take climate actions, by sharing knowledge and sharing experience, I am also this little part of the revolution.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Agnieszka, for sharing all your knowledge and wisdom. I hope you enjoyed it as well.
It was a great pleasure for me talking to you. Thank you very much once again for your great questions and very, very inspiring discussion.
You're very welcome, Agnieszka. Well, thank you for listening to our retail broadcast channel. If you like this episode, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Let us know what challenges you are facing, and we will talk about it in our next podcast. If you'd like to know more about retail, visit our website www.analyticalalways.com. You can also find us on your favorite social media channels: YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, or LinkedIn.
You're listening to Retail Broadcast Channel.